Hello, this is Brett with WIPdeveloper.com. Recently, Salesforce announced their Lightning Web Components, and I wanted to explore those. To do that, you need to be able to work with them, and since you can't do it in the Dev console, I'm going to use Visual Studio Code. Before we install Visual Studio Code, we're going to have to get the Salesforce DX command line tools installed on our machine. There's some links that I will provide below the video so that you can get the installer directly. From the Trailhead link, there's going to be a table to download under install the pre-release version of the command line. I'm sure in the future this won't say pre-release, it'll just say install the command line. For right now though, I'm going to download the Mac version, select it, ask to reject, I'm going to say continue. It's going to download the SFDX OSX plugin or package. Once that downloads, I will step through the installation process using all the default settings. If you already have SFDX installed on your machine, you can skip this step and continue on with the next portion. Alright, we can close out this installation. Move it to the trash because I don't need it anymore. The next step is in your terminal. See if you have SFDX installed. It's going to say do something. Yeah, so you can also do SFDX force, get the little cloud logo. Yeah, but that's not what we want to do right now. What we want to do is run SFDX plugins install Salesforce DX pre-release. So I'll just copy that, go back to my terminal, paste that in there, run the install. Once this is complete, we should have a Salesforce DX plugin version that is greater than 45.0.9. So what we will do to check that is type SFDX plugins, and it says we have 45.0.9. If you're following this after the Salesforce Lightning Web Components has gone to general availability, you won't have to go through the steps as it will be included as part of the Salesforce DX plugin. With that done, we can move on to setting up our Visual Studio Code. Go to code.visualstudio.com and download it. I'm going to use the Insider Edition, which you can find underneath the download button. Click Insider's Edition, download for Mac, and then the download will start shortly. I like using the Insider's Edition because it's very stable. I've never had a problem with it. I've been using it for over a year. The team that develops Visual Studio Code uses it themselves internally, so any issue they have, they usually catch right away. I don't think there was one issue where they rolled it back within a couple hours of the release, and you get new features months before anyone else. That downloaded a zip file. I unzipped it, got the Visual Studio Code insiders. Now I'm going to drag that to my applications. So now I can open that either from the applications or Launchpad or from the Finder like I just did. Or I guess that's the Spotlight search. And I brought up Spotlight search by using Command and space. You can also use search glass in the upper left-hand corner. So once Visual Studio Code opens, it'll look like this. Now we'll need the Salesforce extensions. If you've never used Visual Studio Code before, on the left-hand side you have these menus. If you had a project open or a full directory open, this would show all your files for that project or directory. Search, there's a debug option. There's a built-in Git integration. That's the source control icon here. And then we'll go to the extension tab and we will search for the Salesforce extension pack. And we're going to install that, and what it's going to do is it's going to actually install a group of extensions: the Salesforce CLI integration, an Apex extension, an Apex debugger, Apex Replay Debugger, and Aura Components in Visualforce. And this is the basic Salesforce extension. We'll press reload. Now what we're going to need to do is also find the Lightning Web Components extension. This is in preview, so it's not included with the Salesforce extension pack. So we'll install this separately. Now we can reload, and we will have a list of extensions that are installed. Now we'll be able to use this Visual Studio code for our Lightning Web Component development using a pre-release org, but we're going to take a look at that next time. So with the extensions installed into our Visual Studio code, we can bring up the command palette by, this is on a Mac, I'm pressing Command Shift and P. You can see SFDX, and you got a list of some commands. Since we're not in a project, we only have 3 right now. And we'll be able to use these to create our project and start playing around with Lightning Web Components next time. The process for setting up on Windows should be very similar. If you do have any issues, hit me up below in the comments and I will try to help you out. That's it for now. Remember to sign up for the weekly stand-up and you can get updated with any new information we have on WIPdeveloper.com.